Hey guys, this is Autumn from It's Autumn's Life. So, let's get started with my conversion story. So actually, I converted really young. I was 15 and I was almost 16, so it was pretty near my 16th birthday. And, you know, there's no right time to convert, so it's kind of a blessing for me that I was able to convert that young. But basically, there's not really anything that interesting about my story. I was attracted to religion from a young age. My family wasn't religious when I was younger, and we would just basically celebrate the holidays. And I just felt like I should be doing more starting from like age 12, and I used to actually go to a small church down my street by myself. And after a while, I wasn't really feeling the connection, so I stopped going. And then I was, I think in 6th grade about that time, I met a Muslim girl who was Palestinian and she wore hijab. That was the first time I had ever really met a Muslim or knew anything about Islam or what it was. I had no idea. So she kind of opened my eyes to it existing. So in that time, I actually had a course called, I think it was like world history, or I don't know, something about world something. And there was a section in there where we studied all the major world religions. So Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism. And I was really interested because, like I said, I don't know why, but I just always felt connection to religion and I wanted to know more. So in that time, I read about Islam and I was so interested, and I just kept reading by myself. And I was also becoming better friends with this Palestinian girl who I had met. I didn't really talk to her much about Islam. When you're in middle school or around that age, you don't really want to seem different. So I don't think she wanted to make me feel awkward or, feel like she's pushing anything on me. So we didn't really talk much about it. But weirdly enough, subhanAllah, things were just so easy for me at that time. The masjid was just a few blocks from my house, so I used to go on Fridays to meet with my friend there because they had special days on Fridays where they would have potlucks and they would give khutbah. And I used to just go and sit there, just hang out basically, and then at the same time I would be hearing the khutbahs. And it was really interesting for me, and it just got me more interested. I went out, I bought a Quran, I started reading it. I didn't tell my friend much about this at the time either, but I was just kind of doing my own self-exploration about that. So after I read the whole Quran, I was feeling, for myself that, yeah, I feel a connection to this. I feel like this is what's right, this is what I need to do. So I called my friend up and I was like, I feel like Islam is for me. I feel like I want to convert and become a Muslim. She was really shocked. Like I said, I hadn't talked to her about anything at that time because, we were young, and it's just kind of like religion is not something you talk about when you're that young. It seems like very, She was shocked, but, she didn't push me to convert. She wanted to make sure that I had the right intentions, that I really wanted to do this because it's a big step. And, shortly after, I converted. So I said Shahada, and alhamdulillah, I became a Muslim. And yeah, that was basically my whole story. I was really lucky that I came into contact with some Muslims that were really kind to me. I used to go to that masjid and just hang out even though I wasn't Muslim, They let me come and hang out with them. I got to, eat delicious food and just learn about the religion. And I used to come and I was totally not appropriately addressed now that I look back on it. But they never said anything unkind to me, they just let me come in and learn. And I think that was the most positive thing about how I was able to learn so much in such a little time. So yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm a Muslim now. It's been so many years since then. But yeah, that's basically the story. It's not that interesting, to be honest. It's just literally I studied and I felt a connection and then I became a Muslim. But alhamdulillah, I was really lucky because I converted young. It allowed me to like stay out of a lot of things that were bad for me. And once I went to college and everything, it was nice to have that support group in the masjid, meet Muslim friends. So I've had, an easy time in my life as a Muslim in that way. So it was really just a huge blessing, and especially when I think back on it now, my family was not very religious at that time, so me exploring my own religious options was easy for me because they didn't push me with any issues. And I know a lot of converts have that problem where their family gives them a hard time, and unfortunately they're reliant on their parents and their family, so practicing their religion is a hardship for them. But for me, I was so lucky that I didn't have those issues. Now, later on, I do have some issues with my family, but since I converted at such a young age, I got married when I was in college and I have my own family. I don't live with my family anymore, so those hardships are not as hard for me. Whereas if I had been, younger and having issues with my parents, that would have been really hard. I can't imagine. Some converts go through serious problems with their parents. They can't, wear hijab. They can't fast in Ramadan. They can't be openly reading Quran. They have to pretend they're not Muslim, basically. And that is so sad to me, I understand, people have their own beliefs, but one of the things that I appreciate is the freedom to choose. And I think Allah gave me, a blessing, a huge blessing, because I was able to convert so young. And it allowed me not to have hardships because my family wasn't religious at that time. And then subhanAllah, now that I'm older, I have some issues, but I've already, become not as dependent on my parents anymore. So while it is still hard, it's not as hard as it could be. So I'm always praying for the converts who have issues like that, because I can't imagine what they go through. It's already, hard to make such a big decision by yourself, but to be ostracized by family is just horrible. So, I'm always praying, inshallah, help those converts out there going through hardship. So that was my conversion story.